Aristotle was right, and that in life and everything that we do or think, we should seek a balance.
Oh, Zombies is gone. We had to do that going away thing. Probably the eel stepmother showed up, or whatever it was. Well, yes, it's with this Joneser shit, Gary the Jew. Just go fuck off. I mean, I'll let you stay here all night. I didn't bother you, but just keep saying the same shit over and 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 over. It's really uninteresting, and I don't like you.
Just saying.
Well, there's one thing you could do to Gary the Jew.
I did it, and it didn't. How come he's not kicked? I kicked him. Gary the Jew must have Jew power. He's got Jew powers. Jew powers. Yes, yes, yes. How the hell
He
is he
be a
in
jeweler.
here? Yeah. This has got some kind of something going on there. Something going on there. How the hell do you do that? Lefty, take care of that. Well, whatever. I give up. Fuck. This room is acting weird.
You're acting weird.
Gary, I actually wanted to ask you this earlier, and I didn't get a chance to, about that Craig Bettner guy and that synthetic, life form and all that shit. What do you think about that?
I already opined on the subject, but I'll do it again. Yeah, I did a video on it. I don't know. I think it's complete crap that they really over-exaggerated what they did. What they did is really great science, blah, blah, blah. It's nice that they can create chromosomes outside of a cell and inject them into a cell and have them accepted by the cell, but it isn't a synthetic life form. That's just a pile of crap. They did not create a living thing.
And the question I asked because they're supposed to have like a thing on, I think, the History Channel or Science Channel, whatever, this week or next week about it, and saying about how it's going to be like all these great new discoveries that come out of it, and so on and so forth. Do you think that's going to be something that's going to be good for humanity or bad?
Yeah, well, I don't think this particular application is all that new. I mean, they've been, they got the glow-in-the-dark cat thing. We've been fucking around with genes and splicing them, doing all kinds of shit with them. And the fact that we can sequence them is really great because, that's good stuff. That means we could, theoretically, they could now take like a piece of your genetics, right? They could take one of your chromosomes, put it in some yeast or whatever, take a hunk out of it, put a new hunk into it, okay? Then put it back in a cell and have it reproduce and function properly. So, I mean, theoretically, this could lead to creating, fixing genetic problems and also creating immunities and all kinds of this stuff. But yeah, it's always going to get a little messy because, we're starting to head towards that manufacturing who we are thing, that cloning thing, that whole, that gets a little messy ethically.
I think if you're talking about genuine fear when it comes to new technologies and all that stuff, you have to look at the new stuff they're figuring out with neuropsychology and the controlling of electromagnetic impulses and brain waves and all that kind of shit, because as far as the potential for technologies to be used in a less than admirable way, that shit takes the cake as far as MK Ultra and the program
I don't
goes.
think it really has. I don't think it has any real application. You can't. They're not going to create a biarbitrated chip gun or something. I mean, they're really. They're not going to create a device and they press a little button and it makes you compulsively go out and buy a Winnebago or something. I mean, it's just not going to happen that way.
Well, they already have LRAD devices that they use, they say, for riot control that they used on us at the G20 that make you feel like your skin's crawling off of your body and stop basic motor
Yeah, well,
function.
yeah, so what? I mean, that's just basically that's not much more advanced than tear gas. Yeah, there's things that are obnoxious to our senses, and you can do things to fuck up our senses.
Oh, I hear with the neuropsychology stuff. They could figure that out, and they could. They, I mean, if you don't think they would look into developing something like that, that's
Well, this doesn't have a real
pronounced.
world application, so that's why it won't get developed. So what I'm saying is no, I just don't buy it. Once we have that kind of technology, the impetus is going to be to do it something good with it, not sell Apple Jacks.
What do you got against Apple Jacks?
Nothing. I just have a thing against using billion-dollar brain technology to sell them.
What do you think the ratio is of new technologies that are used for good versus those that are used for less than admirable means? Because who do you think has the most
Depends on the
funding when it comes to
technology,
this kind of
doesn't it?
stuff?
It depends on the technology, okay? I mean, let's see, nuclear power plant technology. Well, yeah, it's all been sort of good. Let's make nuclear power plants, make electricity, blah, 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 blah. So you can take anything to any kind of bullshit extreme. I mean, combustion engine, well, let's see, what else did we use with that technology? We made what? I don't see any dark side there.
Machine gun's basically a combustion engine. I mean, it's
Yeah, so, you know, so you can go back and you can figure out which will we have first, the bullet or the car. you know, so it all worked out in the end then.
Ujamama's on Twitter.
What is he twiting? Did he twite something really interesting?
Yeah, he said old hack's a badass motherfucker.
Yeah, I'm
just,
sure he did.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm just hoping that they don't go from like this, whatever synthetic type of gene thing to eugenics and start saying, okay, well, we don't want Gary to have this type of, thought pattern or whatever, or we want him to have, dark hair instead of blonde hair, and this instead of that. I mean, I think, a lot of the things that have come out of bad stuff, have actually been more
Well, it's not a place.
beneficial to us.
Unfortunately, it's the place the technology is going to tend to. I mean, obviously, it's going to have its frivolous applications, and it'll have some good ones. I mean, it might actually be able to cure AIDS, okay, theoretically. So it has an application that might be tremendously positive. But obviously, at the same time, it has this tremendously negative, frivolous, the elites will want to design, designer children kind of concept. And that ball game gets open. But it's not really a threat to world population, as you know, because world population is being decided by, people that don't even read and write.
Gary, I just
It's
real
always
quick.
been my opinion that like I think like a lot of the most brilliant minds have come from people that are imperfect. Like I think like a lot of people that are actually that have depression or have anxiety or have different pains in their lives actually come out with the most brilliant things. And I hope they never come out with something that says, okay, well this is a perfect person and this is what we're going to keep creating, and that's all we're going to do is create perfect people, and then we're never going to have these interventions that happen because yeah, you know what? This person isn't perfect. He has anxiety, but he has a brilliant mind and, comes up with these brilliant things that you wouldn't think about if you had that perfect mind.
Yeah, I know, but it works both ways. Because if we're not going to substantially change anything, then it's better to have people made for the crappy world they're going to live in. So if people are going to be slaves to this shitty system, they might as well be people who like being slaves. you know, unfortunately. But yeah, I don't discount your